normally spend your day? If you were to look at your day, how was it? Yeah. So that's one thing that you need to assess yourself. On a day-to-day basis, you need to see, how did I spend my day? Yeah. And that's one thing you need to ask yourself. The second thing you need to look at is, based on your day's activity, do you think you were mindful? And I've just given you the example of me coming in the morning. I had my errands to run. I had to come here, but things happen, and you now look at your day as it goes along. How were you? How were you mindful of in your day? Did something happen? Did you act emotional? Did you overreact? What was your reaction? How did you behave? Like with most of us, I believe our mothers here, you find yourself in the morning, you woke up, uh, you started your day well, but what happened? It was time for the kids to go to school. Your son or your daughter is not punctual, he's not waking up, you're trying to push him, then he's dragging his feet, and here you are thinking, oh my God, you'll be late. Yeah, and then more and more reactions happen, and then you find yourself snapping. Yeah, so what happens? Your day goes bad, and so does your child's day. So that is where we now start looking at ourselves as mindful. Are we mindful what is happening to us? Are we mindful of how we spend our day? Are we mindful of the activities that we are doing daily? Yeah. And then more so, what is your action? How did you behave during the day? Yeah. Where were you present? In your salah, for example, were you present in your salah? Or did you start your salah and start Allahu Akbar? And the next thing is all the list of things that you needed to all came copying in. Yeah. So that is all about mindfulness. Mindfulness is actually an active behavior that we engage in. Yeah. So are you aware of yourself? Mindfulness is about being aware of everything that you do. Yeah. So that is the life actually of every human being. Constantly you hear mindfulness, but the perception of mindfulness has always been that, let me pause, let me do those yogas or those funny rituals that we do. But as believers, mindfulness for us is presence, is the ability to be present. And that is the best thing that we experience in our day-to-day life. How present are you? Are you present in your salah? Salah is a practice in itself. So mindfulness entails that being present. Yeah. And so most of us live a robotic life. You find yourself, you woke up, you got your children going to school, and then you went to work, you came back, you made your meals, you came back, your children are on the TV, you are on the phone, the day ended, and that is the end of the day. So in essence, we don't live that hindless lifestyle. We live a purposeful lifestyle. And that is what mindfulness brings about. In everything that you are doing, when you are studying something, you've had darsas here. How did it impact you? How mindful were you about what you learned? Did you apply it? That's all about mindfulness. So on your day-to-day activities, mindfulness is a crucial aspect of a believer, because in Islam, we practice mindfulness continuously. It's not something that you switch off and switch on. And that is why getting khushu in your salah is not an act of you switch off and you switch on. When I do my wudu and I make the intention for salah, that is when I become intentional. We become intentional all through. And your khushu will come in depending on how you continuously are in that state of mindfulness. Yeah. So why do we become mindful? Yeah. The topic is mindful me. Yeah. So it's not about just me presenting to you. I want you to look at this practically. How is this going to be? This is in the sessions that we are going to do. Your role is me being mindful, me becoming mindful. Am I mindful? Yeah. So the topic is I am mindful. I'm mindful. Yeah. So we want to develop where we are right now, the assessment that you're making of yourself. Where am I? Am I mindful? Yeah. Am I mindful? How do you assess yourself? Yes, no. I think sometimes, where are we? On and off. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. So wherever you are, be truthful with yourself, because what we want to do is we want to come from wherever you are right now, and where we are heading is we're going to live a life of being the mindful me. Do we all agree we're going to become mindful me? So that is the goal, inshallah. So what is mindfulness? So the first goal we need to know is, why should I become mindful? Because if you are becoming somebody, you need to know, why do I need to do this? Because I know mindful is all over. Everyone talks of mindfulness, but why do we need mindfulness? Yeah, I've defined for you mindfulness as the ability to be present. Yeah, so why do we need mindfulness? Yeah, as believers, mindfulness is the kit that we use in our daily living. Yeah, we've been through COVID, we go through challenges, and especially as women, we are always juggling roles. We are always being mothers, we are always being wives. We are going through now dealing with your extended family. You have your siblings, you have your mother, you have your father, you have all the many roles that you play. Yeah, but now the key is those relationships that you are engaging in, that work that you do, all of it demands of you what? It requires of you, and it takes from you. Yeah. So you find a lot of women are suffering from burnout. They're suffering from lack of sleep. They're suffering from anxiety. They're suffering from overwhelm. They're suffering from very many situations. But the key of it all those emotions that you go through on a day-to-day basis is what? Is again mindfulness. Yeah. And the first, most important reason we need to be mindful for is it's our wellness kit. Wellness kit means what? Yeah, it's an essential as a believer. This is one of the most important things that you need to have. Yeah, when we talk of taqwa. What is taqwa? Taqwa is God consciousness. Yeah. But why do we become God conscious? Everyone tells us be God conscious, be God conscious. But why do we become God conscious? Look at the mercy of Allah. We become God conscious for ourselves. Allah is so merciful. He makes us conscious of Him. Why? So that we derive the most important benefit that we need as human beings, our wellness. Our wellness stems from our ability to connect with Allah. Yeah. When we become conscious of Allah in our day-to-day living, in our activities as we go along, we become that person of taqwa. Yeah. And in Surah Rad, ayah 28, it tells us, those who have believed and whose hearts are assured by the remembrance of Allah. Unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured. Your tranquility comes from that. Your tranquility comes from your connection with Allah. So if you have anxiety, if you have all, if you have anything that you suffer from, yeah, that is your toolkit, becoming aware of Allah. And why is this so important? Yeah, we see it over and over in the Quran. Like, for example, I give you the example of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Yeah, Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he was basically, here is his father who is against him. Here on the other side are all his people who are against him. Yeah, they are throwing him in the middle of the fire. Yeah, what is his reaction? What is his reaction? In the middle of the fire, in the middle of all that you can imagine, yeah, the fire as heated as it is, yeah, the trauma of all the people around him being against him, yeah, what could he be going through in terms of his emotions? But look at what he says, yeah, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah is enough for me. That is mindfulness. When you are able to connect to Allah as your first instance, when you go through a trial, yeah, something happens, what do we say? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Yeah. That is mindfulness. Yeah. Look at Musa alayhi salam. On one side is Firaun. On the other side are the Bani Israel telling him that, what have you done? Look where you have led us. Now we are stuck. Yeah. And what does he say? Allah is with me. Yeah. He can guide me through. Yeah. In Allah. In Mahia Sayadi. Again, mindfulness. So what do we keep focusing on when we have a situation? What do we keep focusing on? Again, I give you the example of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Abu Bakr. Yeah? When he was in the cave with Abu Bakr, and Abu Bakr was panicking. Yeah, on top, just above, they could see the Quraysh and all of them coming for them. Abu Bakr was like, oh my God, they'll just find us here, just now. And look at what Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tells him. Do not worry. Allah is certainly with us. Yeah. That is mindfulness. That is our self-worth. And that is what Surah Rad means. It means when you are in the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured. It calms you down. It immediately calms you down. It's not that they were superficial human beings. Yeah. Our prophets taught us. The Quran teaches us. But do we learn from it? Yeah. We do our adhkar every morning. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah. But are we mindful of those adhkars that we do? Yeah. It's not a ritual. It's not a check mark chore. I ticked, I did my adhkar in the morning. There's a purpose for it. If you look at each and every adhkar we do morning and evening, they have a purpose. They're supposed to take you to that level of tranquility. Yeah. So that is what mindfulness brings. So that is your first and most important goal. If you want to manage your emotions, yeah, this is your wellness kit. Yeah, you need to learn to turn to Allah. Yeah, that is why you look at Salah. Every few hours we go back to, we turn back to that connection with Allah. That is why we practice. If we practice and understood, why do we turn back to Salah? Why do we say the words that we say in the du'as? What are they all meant for? They are all constantly taking us to the most important ingredient of our life, of we getting our wellness toolkit. So that's number one. Number two, it's your self-esteem kit. Yeah. We'll all hear of self-esteem. I don't have self-esteem and all that. But what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is the ability to perceive, yeah, your perception of things. Yeah. Right now, what is happening around us? You have your phone, you're busy getting messages from all over. We are having perceptions all over. Yeah. We are wondering now, our children here, and we are getting all these different aspects of knowledge. Yeah. Around us right now, homosexuality is okay. Yeah. Having relationships is okay. Yeah, having a boyfriend, girlfriend is okay. So many things that were wrong and are wrong are being said, it's okay. Yeah. When somebody talks of corruption, it's okay. I have to give that bribe. Yeah. I have to do this. I had to lie, it's okay. Yeah. So the perceptions what we are taking in is a lot of things have become okay. But that is affecting our self-esteem. Things are not okay. Yeah. Where do we get our perceptions from? As believers, we get it from the Quran. Everything takes you back to the Quran and the Sunnah. Yeah. So your self-esteem, your perception comes from the Quran. Yeah. Your perception of your reality, how you perceive right and wrong comes from that. Your self-esteem derives that. Yeah. Your relationships, yeah, come from that. Today, you want your husband to do this, your wife has this. We all have demands here and there in our relationship. My child should behave like this. He should be number one. He should be this. He should be that. All those from where? What do we perceive as the ideal child? All that comes from what? The same aspects of our perceptions. Yeah. Our decision making. Yeah. You decided to get married. You chose that fancy guy who everyone thinks is great. But character, akhlaq, where is it? Yeah. So all those shape our perceptions. Yeah. So all that is important. Our actions. Yeah. I go to work, I have a job, I'm amazing, I'm successful. Those are our perceptions that we've created. Yeah. But where do we get our perceptions from? We get our perceptions from the Quran. Quran is what teaches us the right perceptions. So we don't read Quran so that I finish that juice. Ramzan is coming. Don't please finish the 30 juice if you have not learned it. You rather set a goal for yourself and get the mindfulness this time from it. Yeah. And the perceptions that we get are unique. Yeah. You look at it, what is defined as success? If you go back, in the modern world that we live in, if you have wealth, I have a house, I'm earning well, I have a car, all that is perceived as success. But can you look at Fir'aun? Do you think he was successful? So what's our definition of success? He had everything, but was he successful? He wasn't. Yeah. So our perception of success is totally not in line with what truly the Quran tells us. Yeah, our perception of success, it's tainted at the moment. Yeah, but what is success? You go to Surah Al-Mu'min, Ayah 1. Believers have succeeded. That's who believers are. Yeah, believers have succeeded. And who does it define as successful? That humble person submits in his prayers, that person who is honest and truthful, the person who gives his zakat is that successful person. So if you look at it, yeah, the person who in Surah Shams, Ayah 9, is the person who purifies himself constantly, is the one who is successful. So truly speaking, in the world that we live in right now, success is if I become number one, if I am on top of my game, if I have success is when I have succeeded, I'm a top person. I have status, I have reputation. That is what success is in this dunya sense. But look at the Quran. A successful person is all of us. There's no one person. All of us can be successful. If you're successful in your salah, you are a successful person. Yeah. If you are able to now achieve that level of attaining the description of the believers in Surah Mu'min, yeah, you have attained that success. You are deemed as successful. So that is the perceptions that we derive. In Islam, there is no top achiever. All of us are achievers. We are all successful. So those are the perceptions we derive. We watch about Gaza all the time. Yeah. We are always hearing about them and mesmerizing about them and wondering how do they, in every fitna that they've come through, every trial that they're experiencing, they are still able to go head on and still hold on to Islam. What perception? Yeah. You hear of the women and the children. The stories you hear of Gaza is what? These women read the Quran continuously. Their children are taught the Quran continuously. That is how we build our perception. This fake self-esteem that we are deriving from feeling good and I am on a high and I have all those others, yeah, and that competence achievement that we have, competence elevated self-esteem, where if I have a job, I'm successful. I am a lawyer, so I'm successful. Those are nothing. Yeah. Today, if I fell dead here, would you even remember Shabana? Yeah, you won't even remember the titles I hold. Yeah, the next thing I'll be called what? That body. That's our status. So our self-esteem is not those things that we attain. Our self-esteem is these perceptions that we derive from the Quran itself. Yeah. So let's mold our perception. Yeah. The goal is you derive your perceptions from what is stated in the Quran and the Sunnah. When you are reading something, I want you to ask yourself, is this in line with the Quran? Is this in line with the Sunnah? Because everything we digest will impact what you think, what you believe. Yeah. Our beliefs are being tainted by what? Yeah. They are being tainted by the messages we are receiving, the social media that we're exposed to. Right now, you hear of young girls who don't want even to do responsibilities in the house. They feel if they have to do responsibilities at home, it's what? Yeah, you are demanding on me. We have to mix with people or you are toxic. Yeah. Those are the perceptions we are infiltrating. Yeah. So that is why it's important we put in our filters. We put in our filters. Our filters come from where? Our perceptions from the Quran. Yeah. So I'm giving you very few perceptions here. Yeah. And look at the other thing that really molds your perception. Yeah. The story of Zakaria. Yeah. If you look at it, when he was making the dua in Surah Maryam, you know what he says? He says so beautifully that when he's making the dua, he's saying, my Lord, indeed, bones have weakened and my head has filled with white. And never have I been in supplication to you, my Lord, unhappy. Unhappy. An old man, childless, a carpenter. Do you see that as success? He has no child at his old age. And yet he's saying what? I have never been unhappy. Perception. He's never been unhappy. We complain about anything that happens to us. Yeah. We get one thing, we don't get one thing. Here we are. My world is terrible. You are the most unhappy person. And here is a man at his old age. He's asking Allah, yeah, give me succession. And what is child going to succeed in? Is it wealth? He has inheritance to give that child. Look at why he wants a successor. He wants a successor for what? For the sake of spreading the lineage. Yeah. Not only was he a prophet, he is teaching us what? Succession of Allah's deen. Do we look at our children as the khalifas that they are supposed to be? We know the word khalifa, but do we understand it? Yeah. That is what Islam has become. We've become, our children must be the one that is top, and then he must be one who has a great job, and then he must have this worldly success. But have you thought of what will he do in the spread of Islam? The purpose of you even having that child is that succession. But other than them going to school, how is their madrasa? How is their deen? How are you molding your child? Yeah, you checked marked, they went to school, the grades are perfect. Oh, you went to madrasa, came back, tick, tick, tick. But are they ready to spread the Islam the way you want it to? Yeah. Are we promoting the succession role that we're supposed to? That is the perceptions we need to create. And that is what perception is all about. If we have the right perceptions from the Quran, what will happen? We will be so full of ourselves. You don't need anything to bust your bubble here because you have the Quran telling you what? You are the best of the people. The best of the people is what we are told in Surah Al Imran. I am the best of the people. Yeah. Your daughter, your son who is now a teenager wondering, I don't look great. And yet the Quran told him, you're already the best of the people. Yeah. But do we feel like those best of the people that Allah tells us we are? Allah tells us He's fashioned us. He took the time to fashion us. He molded us. Do you see yourself as that precious being that Allah has fashioned? Yeah. Who Allah has made so amazingly. Yeah. And here we are, we notice the faults in us. Yeah. But Allah tells us who we are. He tells us who we are becoming. He tells us what He wants us to think. He wants us to feel. I've just told you about your emotions. Now I'm telling you about your thinking. All of it is from where? The Quran. So how do we get mindful? We now become conscious of what do I take in. Is it in line with my religion? Is it in line with what is expected of me? Am I molding the people around me with the perceptions in the Quran? Is my relationship with my spouse based on that mindfulness? Yeah, my actions that I take, are they based on that mindfulness? So those are the first two reasons you need to become mindful. And the last one is character building. Yeah, it builds you. Yeah, you hear of everyone talking of, I am not consistent. Yeah, I am not consistent. Today I did this, I didn't manage. Yeah, we equate success to that ability to be consistent. But in Islam, we don't have consistency, we have constancy. How constant are you at what you do? That's what we strive to become. Yeah, if today you look at your character, because you can only attain success by developing your character traits. If somebody is merciful, can they fail at mercy tomorrow? Can they fail at mercy? If somebody is truthful, can they fail at being truthful? You can't. Look at Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah. Even when he got prophethood, even when they were saying that he's lying to them. Yeah. When the Roman Empire asked these people, has he ever lied? They could not say he ever lied because that was a character trait. That's a character trait. So the third thing that happens when we are building ourselves through mindfulness is we build our character. And that is our sole purpose in this dunya. Allah tells us in Surah Yunus, yeah, He begins the process of creation, then He repeats it, that He may reward those who have believed and done righteousness. You hear of amal saleh all the time. Yeah, you hear of intentionality. Yeah, you make the niyyah. You make the niyyah. Yeah, so that you can attain the ajr of it. But why do we do that? Why do we do the intentionality? It's not for that ritual acts that you do all the time. It's to believe and to become the person of that character. If you are making the niyyah for salah, yeah, the niyyah that you made for salah and you made it 5 times, then 5 times times 5 times times 5 times. Every day that you are doing that, are you becoming that salihin? Are you becoming the person who is constantly able to go back to salah? Are you the person who is able to turn back to salah? Because what is salah? It's the connection. I started with that. Yeah, salah is the connection where you're able to go back to Allah every time. Yeah. When you have a problem, what are you told? Yeah, you do sabr and salah. That is mindfulness, because that is taking you. You become patient, and patience is what? No negative reaction. It's not those funny things that we think. Sabr is just simple. No negative reaction. I'm exploding inside, but outside, no, no reaction. And then what? Sabr, salah. If it gets too much, I can't hold myself. Do wuzu, go pray. So what have you done? You've gone back to what? The first thing, your wellness. Yeah. So all the things that we do in Islam are purpose driven, because Islam is a religion of mindfulness. Yeah. Your purpose in your life is all about mindfulness. From the minute you wake up, you are mindful. That's why we set niyyah. Yeah. We wake up with what? We wake up with that day. We are hopeful that this day will be better than yesterday. We end our day how? With istighfar. Yeah. We submit to Allah that this day I might have not done my best. That's why you recite the last 2 ayahs of Surah Baqarah. Yeah. We submit, Ya Rab, I wasn't the best. Yeah. But then we wake up with hope again. Yeah. So imagine the year started just a few weeks back. How did it feel when you knew the year started? How did you feel? New beginning. How do you feel when you have a new beginning? Yeah, you feel you have a start. You have a fresh start. That checklist is gone. I had 1,001 things to do. I left it last year. I'm starting all over. Yeah. New resolution, new goals. We left it last year. Imagine every day you're starting all over. I left yesterday with istighfar, and I'm starting today afresh. Yeah. Yesterday went. Now today, how am I going to make it better? Yeah. That checklist ended for yesterday. Today I start all over again. That's mindfulness. So that is what mindfulness becomes. And the essence of it, what? Allah tells us you are here so that He can test you, so that what happens? You are judged on what? Your deeds. Yeah, you become ahsanu amala. You create those deeds. So the whole purpose of our life in this dunya is for us to attain those amazing qualities. It's not just I did, and that check marked it. You are developing this dunya. Imagine if everyone around you was honest, compassionate, loving. How does it feel? How do you feel? You'd feel safe. Yeah. You'd be able to not worry. But right now, what is around you? Everyone is lying. Yeah. Everyone is reacting. You don't know how people will behave. Yeah. You don't know who to trust. Yeah. You don't know how the world is going to be. But if imagine every believer just practice these 3 rituals of mindfulness, where would you be? Yeah. So do you want to become mindful now? Now do you see why Islam is so beautiful? Our religion is amazing. It has everything in it. Yeah. We go looking for everything outside Islam, and yet everything is in it. Our well-being is in it, our esteem is in it, our character building is in it, our success is in it. There is nothing you will fail at. Yeah. And that is why the Sahabas, when you look at them, Even they could go through Badr without any stress. It's not that they were not shaken, but Allah molded them. Yeah. And we have it all in the Quran. When you go back, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was being molded. The Sahabas were being molded. Are we molded with the Quran? Are you using your Quran and your Sunnah to mold you? Are you becoming that better me? Are you becoming what Allah said you are the best of the people? Yeah, because Allah tells us the believers are the best of the people. Yeah. It already puts us at a different level. But when we are mindful, yeah. So we go back to one goal. Am I becoming mindful? Yeah. I didn't hear anyone talking. Yes. Inshallah. So that is the essence of it. So Islam teaches us everything. So I've told you 3 very crucial: character building, your self-esteem. Yeah. What somebody tells you doesn't matter. Yeah. Don't allow people's comments to affect you. Yeah. But you will still not learn that until you learn to become mindful and you learn what the Quran tells you about you. Yeah. Until you perceive things as you're taught. Yeah. Because in Islam, everything is taught from within us. Yeah. Those characters you see of Ibrahim, they're not flux characters. They are molded with Iman. They're molded with Iman. How could somebody in the middle of the fire, our fires are what? Somebody today told you bad things. My husband today shouted at me. That's my fire. Yeah. But how did I react? I exploded, double fire. That's what we do, right? We explode back. Yeah. Yeah. Sitting in traffic today, I was like, okay, I need to be mindful. Yeah. These drivers, why are they not going fast enough? Yeah. That's what thoughts that come in your mind, but you become mindful. Yeah. You become mindful. Yeah. So it's every day, every moment, you take yourself to mindfulness. Yeah. That is what intentionality brings. Intentionality is not me just making that niyyah, I prayed, so I finished it. Everything we do in Islam has a reason, has a purpose, and is molding us to become the people of Jannah. To become the people of Jannah. Okay? So I leave you with that. I think that's too much information for today.
That's quite precise. Thanks for making that handout.
Yes. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Sisters, any questions? Do you have some questions?
Yes. Wa alaikum salam.
Talk a little bit more about perception. Having a hard time sort of connecting perception and self-esteem.
Okay. So perception, the meaning of perception is how you perceive ourselves. Now, the perceptions that we have currently is, if I ask you, who are you? What will you answer me? Yes, your roles. So what we do is when you're asked perception, I will say my name, and then I will go straight to, I am the mother of so and so, I'm the wife of so and so, I'm a lawyer. Even how Neha just introduced me. That was all perceptions that she had of me, which derives how she thinks of me, and that also balloons you. So that ballooning of you is your self-esteem. When you feel like, I'm so great, I'm all these many things. That's self-esteem. Because if you don't have self-esteem, you then don't have, you feel like low. Yeah. So our perceptions are basically derived from that, what I think of me. And the esteem that we derive around us, the esteem you develop of your children, are based on how you treat them, what information you take in. All those creates perceptions. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So constant, or let's start with consistency. What happens is we have been brought, I would call it, in a factory environment. Yeah. Since you were a child, what happened is you were told, I need to go to school, then I come, I go madrasa, I do this. What is your life right now? I wake up in the morning, I'll pray, then I will start cooking, or I'll start dressing up my kids, then I will go to work, or I'll run my errands, then I'll cook, I'll do all the many things that I'm supposed to do. Now that is your routine. Now let's say one day the gas went off. It got finished. And then you couldn't cook. And then a guest showed up. There's no food. Then, by mistake, when you even tried to cook, you put extra salt. Yeah. So everything was off the chart. So what will you say? I was not successful because the constant aspect of life did not happen. Yeah. But that consistency, we believe success comes from consistency. Yeah. And we had done a session, I think in Parklands, where I was trying to explain the word. You know, there is this hadith where we are told that Allah loves those who are consistent. Yeah. But truly, the word used in that ayah is not consistent. Yeah, it's adwam, long lasting. So you see even how we interpret some of the things that are literally stated to us. They're all based on our perception of how the world rotates. Yeah. So these perceptions of consistency that we've developed is like, it actually originates from, I don't remember the person's name, but it's actually from a factory worker or an employer of a factory worker. He was trying to analyze human beings and thought, how can I get them to perform more? Yeah. And what he ended up doing, he realized that if he could make them work at a certain way in a robotic fashion, and then he would get the amount of output he would get like in a factory. Yeah. So that is the perception productivity has developed for us. So we've become accustomed to, if I am able to constantly be at work, I'm earning a fixed salary, I'm having all these constants happening in my life. Yeah. Then what happens? I am successful. But in an Islamic sense, consistency is not consistency, it's constant. Why do we say constant? If I am constant at being truthful, if I am constant at being merciful, if I am constant at getting a certain character trait achieved, then what happens? I will develop guaranteed success. Why? Because I will not fail. So the whole world, like the example I give you of the gas going off and visitors showing up, you won't be inconsistent. What will happen is you will immediately take on your traits. If you are a person who is calm, composed, yeah, what you will do, you will display it immediately. You will display those best characters in you. And what you will happen, you will sort out the problem by exercising your good character. And that's why in how we learn success is we learn at constant. We learn to be constant at something. We learn to be constant at that trait or that emotion and that character. Because when we become constant at that, what happens? We develop those beautiful qualities. Like I'll give you the example of Yaqub alayhi salam. Yaqub alayhi salam, when his sons come back with that shirt, which is smeared with the fake blood, yeah, and now they're telling him Yusuf alayhi salam is dead, yeah, what does he do? He knows they are lying, yeah, but how he responds to them? He responds to them with what? I will exercise what? Sabrun Jamil, patience, beautiful patience. He goes to a character trait, and then he turns to Allah and says, Allah will support him. Yeah. So you see, that's how Islam teaches us. It doesn't teaches us to now look at the habit becoming constant. It looks as us being characteristic wise constant. So that's how we develop success. And that is why a believer is easily able to become consistent and constant also. But we don't look at consistency for success. We look at being constant so that we can attain success. Does that make sense? Anything else? Yes, yes. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Emotional intelligence is an aspect of mindfulness. Yeah. When you are emotionally intelligent, is already, again, the intelligence, because mindfulness is an action of awareness. Yeah. So when you are emotionally intelligent, you've attained that level of mindfulness that now your emotions are no longer interfering with you becoming somebody you want to become. Now, emotions will always be there. It's not that our emotions will not be there. We will experience emotions. But when you are emotionally intelligent, what happens is you are able to manage your emotions. Like look at Abu Bakr and Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When they were in the cave, he panicked. Abu Bakr panicked. But look at the emotional intelligence here. And how does the emotional intelligence come about? By that mindfulness. So when Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prompts him that do not grieve, Allah is certainly with us. So what happens? He takes him back to becoming emotionally intelligent. So it's a character you build of becoming emotionally intelligent. Make sense? Anything else?
You said subtle. You don't for your reactions. But how is that really possible? Like if I'm sad, there's a depth. Sad.
Yes.
I don't like cry or like
You will cry. Like the example I just gave you of Yaqub, he cried until he went blind. What we mean by reaction is you will not react, like the way we are told, don't wail. Yeah, don't scream. That is reaction. Those emotional reactions, feelings you will feel. The feeling of sadness is an emotion, you will feel it. You will feel sad, you will grieve, you will even cry. Those are human actions. We will take all those actions. But what we don't do, you could see Yaqub could have reacted and screamed back, how dare you? Where is it? Where is Yusuf? That is reaction. So what we don't do when we exercise sabrun jamil or sabr, we don't react. We hold, yeah, we hold our reaction. So that you won't feel like screaming your head off. Yeah. But what we do, we hold ourselves. And at that moment, we go back to that ability to become mindful and then hold our reaction and look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala amazingly teaching us. He tells you, run to salah. Because the minute you go do wudu, that water comes you down. By the time you are in your salah and conscious of Allah, if you are exercising the first character trait I told you about, what will you do? You will already become aware of Allah. Yeah. And when you become aware of Allah, what happens? You immediately know Allah will take care of me. Allah is there for me. Allah will surely sort out this for me. So what happens? It makes you mindful. Yeah. And when you are mindful, then you can develop that calmness, that coolness. Now, what we do is when we have reactions, what we turn to, we react even at the anxiety. And yet we will feel anxious. And Surah Ma'arij, what does it tell us? That you were created anxious. You'll be that impatient person. It is a character trait. So Allah tells you of your characters in the Quran. But what happens? When you become mindful, you're able to manage your characters. Yeah. Even in the Quran, how many times Rasulullah he is grieving, he's being told how, like in Surah Kaf, he's being told, will you worry yourself off over these people? Yeah, because he was so concerned. So the character, the habits, the traits that we have are not the problem, but the reactions that we can bring out. That is what we need to manage through mindfulness. Make sense? Anything else? Yes, that's part of taqwa. Reliance. It takes you to reliance. We rely on Allah. Yeah. But now the role that you have to play. Yeah, I know the next time I'll see you sometime in Ramadan. Yeah. So what do you take out from this? What you need to do is you need to now apply this mindfulness. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to give you homework. Yes. Yes, tawakkul. You put yourself in that state. Now look at the month we are in. And nothing is by coincidence, I'm telling you. We're in the month of Rajab. What is Rajab? It's a sacred one. What does the sacred month mean? Okay, that's action. Yeah. Do not transgress. Why do we not transgress the limits of Allah? Okay. I'm looking for a better answer. Not that you're all right, but I'm looking for a better answer. It's the month of Allah. It's an honored month. Imagine even the Quraysh used to respect this month because it's the month of Allah. When you think of it in the mindful sense of this is the month of Allah, what will you do? You will avoid the sins. You will become more conscious. You will want to do the righteous deed. You will want to avoid the sin because we are told avoid the sin in this month. Yeah? So it's not by flukes that these months show up and just few months before Ramadan. That's why they are called preparations. Allah is teaching us to become mindful from now. Yeah. So if you remember this is a month of Allah, then what happens? You start taking yourself to that level of mindfulness. Then by the time you reach Shaban, now you start the next level of mindfulness. You start planning. Ramadan is coming. What do I need to do? Yeah. And this time, please don't plan the samosas and all the other things that need to be put in the fridge. I want you to plan something better. How do I become mindful me? I want you to think of Ramadan as the best tool because you will achieve the first level of wellness. Yeah. Because imagine you are conscious of Allah even in eating. What better tool Allah uses to make us mindful? I don't eat because Allah has told me not to. I don't drink because Allah has told me not to. Allah has told me I cannot engage in a relationship during the day with my husband. Those are all your desires. Those are all what you would want as a human being. But why are you abstaining from it? Why are you abstaining from it? Because you are mindful of Allah. Yeah, Allah has told you. So that's the reason for Ramadan. Yeah. Ramadan doesn't just come for the sake of we fast, the month is so holy and everything's so great, and then I go back to my old self. How do you feel when you are in Ramadan? How do you feel when you're in Ramadan? What did I tell you? Wellness. You know why Ramadan is the best month in a year? Because that's the time you'll remember Allah the most. It's not by jokes. It's not just that shaitan is locked. It's truly you are connecting to Allah from your heart. Yeah. When you go in those gatherings, that Tarawih prayer, you're connecting to Allah. When you are thinking of your fasting, you're conscious, oh, I can't eat, I'm fasting. But it takes us to what? Becoming aware of Allah. That's the first toolkit. So inshallah, you're set for the first toolkit, right? Till Ramadan. So you will practice Ramadan the right way this time. Yeah. Not just that samosas are there and I cooked, everything is ready in the deep. If I have guests, it's fine. We're not doing it for all these other guests. We're doing it so that we can connect with Allah. Yeah. Ramadan is a time for connection. Yeah. Yes. 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 Maybe successful. That's the traits of a successful people. So that's why I'm telling you the definition of a successful person is not that richness, it's not that job, it's not me being a lawyer, I'm successful. No, no, no. That has nothing to do with me being successful. I might have all the world's titles in the world, but I'm useless. If I don't know how to be patient, if I don't know how to be honest, if I don't know how to apply my beliefs, yeah, if I don't have all these qualities as a mu'min, then where will my success take me? Yeah, I'll not be successful. Yeah, but when you have those traits, guaranteed, if I am lawyer and I'm able to be honest, will you come to me? If I'm honest and I'm practicing law and Shabana is an honest lawyer, will you come to my office? Definitely. If you know somebody else is there, but that lawyer cheats, will you go to that lawyer? So we look for character first. And it's not out of, because Islam teaches us every human being admires. It's called human goodness. Yeah, human good character. We all look for those traits. And look at Islam, it puts it as a paramount for us. Yeah. So when we prioritize that, guaranteed you will be successful in anything that you do. Anything. In dunya and in akhirah. It's not a joke when we do that. Rabbana atina fi dunya hasana dua. Truly, it is success. Allah will give us everything. Imagine you have the traits and then now you have the skills that you're doing for your worldly life. Guaranteed, who will not give you business? Who will not give you that success you're looking for? Make sense? So what was your homework? Become mindful and use this Ramadan during this period of planning. Make sure I've given you your wellness kit, remembrance of Allah. Use it to the maximum. Don't do those fake adhkars of, I just check marked it. Number 2, when you're planning to do your Quran recitation, don't just plan to finish that 30 juz. Learn from it. How many things have you learned today from what I've told you? And that is just the Quran. I didn't tell you anything from outside. And I'm sure you've heard most of what I said. But did you take it in the perception that I told you? Yeah. It's the perception. What does this mean for us? Yeah. Quran is not a book just of recitation. It's a book that gives you everything. When we say Quran is healing, it's truly healing, but if you know how to use it. Yeah. Make sense? So there's nothing outside the Quran that can give you success. But your success comes from in it. Yeah. When you use the Quran for that shifa, for your guidance, for your success, for you to be directed, that's why it's a guide. It directs you in everything. You won't lack. Yeah. And that's why if you even hear of children who memorize the Quran at an early age, they're told, or you're told, that they are most intelligent people. Truly. It's not by fluke, it's not because of memorization, because once you start internalizing the Quran, it transforms you. Yeah, it didn't just by flukes, 23 years, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam transformed the whole of the Arabian Peninsula. It is because it was the magic of the Quran. Yeah, Quran is something totally different. It's not just a book of rituals or routines and chores. It's actually the miracle from Allah, but only if you apply it properly. We're together? Okay. Yes. Yes, sorry, and I kept you all so long.
The goal is, we have a goal with this program with Shivana, inshallah. Our goal is by the end of the year, we should have seen level up. We should have seen ourselves as a different person by the end of the year. In a better way. Not in a we progress in a better way. So please make this a routine in your life. Come here, everyone is only, it's just 1 hour. But this is investing in yourself. It's just 1 hour, it's all free. Just come, invest in yourself, and invite your sisters as well. So that's why we made the printouts, especially for this program, because this really impacts us as women. So please keep this with you and do a follow up. By the time we come to our next session, you'll ask us Q&A.
Yes. Yes, yes. 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 Okay. So the truth is, yes, any profession has the same problems. Even in a shop, if right now you go and somebody will serve you there's a likelihood that if that person's character trait is bad, he will cheat you of the prize. Yeah, it's only that people perceive lawyers as liars. That's the mentality. But the truth of the matter is, all professions have the same characteristics. Yeah, but the thing is, because like in my profession, I'll say we deal a lot with government offices, and then you find yourself dealing with that. But again, like I said, your character trait is what helps you. Because imagine if we had lawyers who were honest, if we had lawyers who handled clients' money well, if if we had lawyers who went to court and served justice, because in the Quran we also have contracts. Yeah, we have so many things that emanate from the Quran, the relationships that we do, the ayahs on, handling a divorce matter, the ayahs on trade is in the Quran. We have everything, like I said, in the Quran. Now imagine if we start running away from different professions because of a thought. That's what I say is perception. This perception they have is a perception which is worldly based. But the truth is, when you come to the Quran, you will see that mentors, yeah, look at Allah. What does He say? He's Al Wakil, yeah, He's the disposer of affairs. So, what happens is if you as a person do not have that character trait, then you will display those negative characters. So, it's you to try and explain to them that it doesn't matter what profession you take, but can you uphold it to the level of what? An abd of Allah. Because if you can't become the abd of Allah, there is no profession you can uphold. Yeah. And there is no profession that is better than the others. Yeah. Look at Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the lady who used to clean the mosque. How he upleveled her when she passed away. He said, why didn't you tell me? But you see, in a worldly sense, she was not important. But to Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, she was special. Yeah. So all those, you can tell those young girls is they need to truly learn Islam first. Yeah, because it's not about the profession, it's about what do they want to do with it. Because I'll tell you, I wanted to be a lawyer since I was a child. I had decided I was going to do law when I was a child. And it didn't matter when everyone around me was telling me, lawyers are liars and all. I said, I'm going to be the only honest lawyer. I don't care. I'm going to be the one who will serve justice. That's what I used to say. That's what I used to tell people. And Alhamdulillah, we are able to serve people like that. Yeah. And I'll tell you, we do need lawyers because you go to court right now. In the Qadi's court, women are having no representation. They are going emotional rather than being technical in arguing their cases. Yeah. So divorce cases are going haywire, not just because of lack of knowledge, because we don't know how to manage ourselves. Make sense? So thank you so much. I didn't do the duas. SubhanAllah. Yes. Okay, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Oh, for Parklands, let's ask Neha. They're asking if you're going to do in Parklands. But don't come this far. No idea. If you want to take extras, you can just take.